It is about as close to cozy season as we ever get here in Southern California. Actually, it'll get a little bit cooler in January, I think, but today we have like low 60s and it's like rainy and cloudy outside. And so it felt good to kind of bundle up a little bit in my Sweet Shadow wrap from Leanne Parenti from one of the Crochetalongs last year in Seismic Yarn. Anyway, I think it'll be a short one today, but I will see you on the other side. Welcome to this episode of Gary Knits, Gary Rides, a craftivism podcast at the intersection of making things and doing good. My name is Gary. I am a knitter and a crocheter, and for the past 5 years, I have been a cyclist and fundraiser for AIDS Lifecycle, a 7-day, 545-mile bike ride from San Francisco to Los Angeles each June, raising money for the Los Angeles LGBT Center and the San Francisco AIDS Foundation. How are you? I hope you are enjoying a little bit of calm before the Thanksgiving storm. It doesn't seem like it's been that calm around here. Actually, I feel like I'm burning the candles at both ends in terms of just the number of projects that I have going on and still have to think about preparing Thanksgiving dinner next week. So I hope you are enjoying a little bit of calm. If this is your first time here, thank you so much for taking some time out of your week to spend it with me and see what I'm up to. You can find me, as always, on Instagram at Gary Knits, Gary Rides, and on Ravelry as Gary Knits and Rides. As I mentioned, it has been a busy couple of weeks. I've stopped the travel whirlwind that I had been on and have been enjoying some time just here at home. But like I said, there are a number of projects, some of which I can talk about, some of which I cannot, that are eating up my time. I also started going back to the gym. So I stopped going to the gym before our vacation this year just because I didn't want to catch COVID. And we couldn't get our vaccines, our latest boosters, before we left. And I'm 99.9% sure that last year, after 2.5 years of not having COVID, that's where I caught it, was at the gym. So it had been several months since I'd been to the gym, and whew, it is real when you go back after a break. The first couple of days, I was having a hard time walking. I go to Orange Theory, which is sort of a group high intensity interval training. You all wear heart rate monitors and do rowing and biking and jumping around on the floor. It's one of the only, that and cycling, actually the only sort of exercises that I've ever really gotten into. Something about all the data and the slight competition with the other people in the room really works for me. So I enjoyed that. And so this is week 2 back, and I'm still feeling it a little bit, but hopefully sometime after Thanksgiving I'll be able to get back on the bike. I don't think I'm going to be able to do it between now and then, but so that's been fun. We went to a family wedding in San Jose, which was fantastic. Got to see some family, sister-in-law and brother-in-law and aunts and uncles, which was very cool. And then came back, and last week we had the Pearl Awards from Knit the Rainbow, which was really exciting. I was excited to attend, and then at the last minute, Adela from Lola Bean Yarn Co., who was supposed to be co-hosting it with Austin Rivers, who is the CEO, founder of Knit the Rainbow, she had to drop out. He reached out to me, I think it was like 2 or 3 days before the event, and said, would you be willing to step in and do this? And I said, if you give me a script, I can generally follow that. So it was a ton of fun. We had a great evening. There were 3 honorees, very, very inspirational. So it was Fatima Hines of Disturbing the Fleece, who I think most of you probably know. Miss Pearl and the Miss Pearl community, Kamaka, and the Miss Pearl community, Miss Pearl, which is a yarn store on the south side of Chicago, which does a ton of work in the community. And then Tatiana Furman, I believe was her name, and she is the CEO and founder of Bridges for Life, which is one of the partner organizations with Knit the Rainbow, where they distribute their goods. So it was a really fantastic evening honoring those folks. There were raffles, and there was a silent auction, and they raised a bunch of money. I think they got very close to raising their full year fundraising goal, which is fantastic. And hopefully the evening will be put up on the Knit the Rainbow YouTube channel. Austin said he was going to do that. They still haven't put up last year's, but he said they were going to put both of them up in the near future. So hopefully that will happen. You'll have a chance, if you weren't able to attend in person, have a chance to check that out, because it was a really fun evening and very inspiring to hear from those folks. So that was that. And that's basically what has been going on in my non-knitting world, even though Knit the Rainbow is obviously part of the knitting world. Big milestone for me here on, sorry about that, YouTube. I hit 1,000 subscribers, which has been a slow climb to get there, but I'm really, really thankful to each and every one of you who have subscribed to the channel. If you're not a subscriber and you're watching this, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It really helps to build this community. Hopefully we'll just continue to grow it from here, but I really appreciate everyone who has helped to get me here so far. We're going to have a celebration for that milestone. First, there's going to be a giveaway. 1 second. I'll be right back. And we're back. I think I showed this last episode, yes, because it was after Rhinebeck. But while I was in Rhinebeck, Joanna from Crochet Goddess gave me this beautiful skein of hand-spun yarn. And this is going to be part of the giveaway prize. The other part is going to be Shop My Stash. So we did this a while back, maybe probably over a year ago. Basically, the way it is going to work is the winner is going to, in addition to winning this beautiful skein of handspun, we're going to consult, figure out what weight of yarn you're most interested in, and then I'm going to lay out my stash on the bed, probably sort it by colors. Maybe if you give me some guidance on colors that are your favorites, then we can kind of narrow it down that way. And then we will do a little live video that I will then post up here on YouTube, where you can pick out a couple of more skeins to go with this handspun. So Joanna from Goddess Crochet, thank you so much for this. I knew I had to keep it and do something special with it, and this feels like the right thing to do with a special skein of yarn for a special milestone for me. So how can you win? Well, just post a comment down below, subscribe to this channel. If you're not subscribed, subscribe to the channel, and then post a comment down below with 1K somewhere in the comment, and then before the next episode I will draw a winner and announce it there. So sometime after Thanksgiving we will then do the Shop My Stash and get that posted up here as well. The other thing I want to do, and you can also chime in down below, but I think I'm going to put a short up as well with a little poll on it, and I'll do a poll on Instagram as well, is I would like to do a live YouTube. I've never done that. I do Instagram lives occasionally, but I thought it would be fun to come on and see how this works on YouTube with the chat and all that. I don't know if I'll be able to manage the chat and talking at the same time, but we will see, and if we fail, we fail. So I just kind of want to know when a good time would be. I kind of felt like the tail end of the Thanksgiving weekend would be cool, like after everyone's kind of had their dinner, done Black Friday to the degree you do Black Friday. I think there are sporting events during the weekend. I don't know if any of you are involved in that, but I don't know when those happen. I assume they just constantly happen. But I thought maybe like Sunday afternoon, everyone's kind of chilled out, relaxed after all of the whirlwind of Thanksgiving weekend, and maybe Sunday afternoon would be a good time. But if you have thoughts on that, If you think that's a terrible idea, drop those in the comments as well, and I'll try to figure out between now and then when a good time for most people to do it. Probably, mid-afternoon my time, which is then evening on the East Coast, or maybe even a little early, so we can grab maybe some folks from Europe as well. We'll see. Let me know what you think. So that was a big moment for me, was hitting the 1K number here on YouTube. I also crossed 7,000 or 6,000 over on Instagram, which is fantastic. We did a giveaway around that. The other things that are going on right now are the Destash for Good is about to kick off. I actually spent most of today beginning to post listings up on Destash for Good. Here's the Instagram, if you are unfamiliar. It is a periodic fiber auction over on Instagram where people list their stash that they would like to get rid of. They get to keep some money. Part of the money raised for the prices of things sold goes to my AIDS Lifecycle fundraising. It's a lot of fun. We've got in this round 260-ish listings, from single skeins to multi skeins. There's some needle sets, there's some books, all sorts of stuff in there. I think we cover every single weight of yarn from lace up to super bulky. No spinning fiber this time, I don't think, but it's a wide range. Most of it this time, I would say, is indie dyed yarn. There are some commercial yarns in there, but most of it is indie dyed yarn, heavily weighted to fingering weight, as it always is. But it's a lot of fun, and we're going to kick this one off on Black Friday. So if you are not a head out to your local big box store doorbuster kind of person, and you want to sit back and shop yarn at a discount in the comfort of your own home, then tune in at noon Pacific on Black Friday. That's the 24th, I believe, and all the auctions will go live. They'll run for about 2 weeks. I keep saying I'm going to look at the calendar and figure out when it's going to end, but usually I try to get 2 weekends in there. So if it starts on a Friday, it'll probably run till Wednesday of the week after the next weekend. So go check that out. It should be a lot of fun. And if you missed your chance to list in this round of the auction, fear not. There will be another one that I'll probably open up mid-January to then run beginning of February. And I'm going to try to do that one and 2 more before my ride in June. I just have to look at the calendar and figure out where I can space it, because with Knitalongs and Crochetalongs and other things that I've got going on the fundraising side, trying to squeeze a Destash in is can get tough, because it's an extremely time-consuming thing on the front end for me to get the listings up on Instagram. And if you will allow me, and you have to, or you can cut me off, is to rant a little bit about Instagram. There are many great things about Instagram. It has obviously been a great platform for me in terms of fundraising for AIDS Lifecycle, but in certain regards, it is a pile of garbage. Customer service being first and foremost. There is literally no one you can talk to at Instagram to find out if you're having problems, why you're having the problem that you're having. There are no good FAQs on what you're allowed to do, what you're not allowed to do in terms of some of the features that they say are available. And it's just super duper frustrating. So one of the reasons why it takes me so long to get a Destash up and running is I have found through trial and error that Instagram does not like it if I post 250 posts in a day or two. And so that means I have to space them out. So I have to set a little timer for every 5 or 6 minutes to post one of the listings, which means if I have 300 and they're, I can only get 10 an hour done if I'm lucky. I've got to spread that out over 30 hours of posting, and it's, you can't really, in those 6-minute windows, you can't really be doing too much other things. And then I should be able to schedule posts so that they populate overnight. So I load them up into the queue, and then they just happen overnight, which is a great way to sort of shorten that time from closing the submissions to getting the auction up and running. But for some reason, Instagram lets me schedule 4 posts, and then it shuts my account down from being able to schedule posts, not until those things are posted, just ever after that. And there's no help desk. There's no phone number to call. And I get tired, like the whole BS of it. Well, it's a free platform, so you get what you pay for. It's not a free platform. They are selling our data. They are using our eyes to view ads. And so the only recourse I have is to, I just rant, as I'm doing here, and randomly post sometimes at Instagram to try to see if I can get anyone's attention over there. And then I just hide all the ads. So anytime I see an ad, I hide it. And when they ask me why I hide it, I say it's inappropriate, because it's inappropriate for you to be monetizing my eyeballs if you're not going to provide me any support for that. So anyway, end of rant, off my soapbox. The Destash will be up and running, hopefully Black Friday, if I can get all those posts done between now and then. But it's a really great group of merchandise this time around. Some big ticket items. One of the things that I have that I am listing is, if you missed it, the Lola Bean Yarn Co. Advent, Hip Hop Holiday Advent from, I guess it was last year. Maybe it was a 22, holiday 2022. I have the full set on fingering weight, full skeins of each of the colorways. I believe there are 12 of them. Maybe it's 13, but I think there are 12 full skeins. I have the bag that went along with it. So that is a Black Pearl Magic hip hop bag, and the set of stitch markers from Bertie Parker. So it's all going to be put in one lot. So if you missed your shot at getting the Lola Bean Hip Hop Holiday, or you weren't paying attention and didn't even know it happened, and you're a big hip hop fan, there are some really amazing colors based on Adela's I don't know if they're just necessarily her favorite, but what she felt were the most influential or important hip hop albums out there. So it's a great set. So check that out. There's a couple other really big bundles of yarn kits and fade sets and things like that. So it's a great group of merchandise. So that's the D-Stash for good. The other fundraiser that I do are the Knitalongs and Crochetalongs, and we are announcing the dyers and designers and patterns and yarn kits for the winter Crochetalong and Knitalong this week. So today, if you're watching this when this comes out on Friday, at 3 p.m. Pacific time, I will be going live over on Instagram, but I will post it over here as well once it gets up and loaded. Sitting down with the designer Corin Purifoy, who is I Knit You Not on Instagram, and Courtney from Apothecary Fiber Co. So they have teamed up for the Crochetalong for the winter project. The Crochetalong and the Knitalong are going to start January 1st, run through the end of February. We always do 2 months. There will always be 5 rounds of prizes. This will be both the Knitalong and the Crochetalong. This time will be entry tickets. So you buy a ticket on my coffee page, link down below, for $3. That gets you into the Knitalong. The Crochetalong gets you eligible for all of the giveaways. And then the patterns are sold directly from the designer on Ravelry or on their website, and the yarn kits are sold from the dyers directly. So Friday, Crochetalong, Corin and Courtney, Apothecary Fiber Co. and I Knit You Not on Instagram. It is a 2 skein fingering weight shawl. We haven't done a shawl in a while, so I thought that would be fun. Even though it's the winter Knitalong, it's a lightweight shawl, so I think it would be perfect for you to knit on during the winter and have ready to go in spring. I haven't done it, but a friend of mine did the test crochet for it. This is a kind of reimagining refresh of one of Corin's existing patterns, and she said she had a ton of fun with the pattern. It looks beautiful. I have the sample here that I will show on Friday when we go live. Then on Saturday, also at 3 p.m. Pacific, live from the SoCal Fiber Fair, I will be going live with Nance of MK Nance Designs and Sarah of Sea Change Fiber for the Knitalong. So Nance has a pattern that is a 2-color color work hat and mitt set with a little bit of a twist in there. And then she has teamed up with Sarah from Sea Change Fiber, who is a California dyer, and they have, I believe, 3 different color combo sets for that. So it is fingering weight, as I mentioned, 2 colors. 2 skeins of yarn will get you either the hat or the mitt. If you want to do both, it's 4 skeins. I feel like you're going to have some left over. We're going to discuss that on Saturday. But I'll be at the SoCal Fiber Fair, and Sarah is vending there, so I thought it would be fun to just do the live. Probably not from her booth, because we don't want to just be distracted by people in the booth. So we'll probably try to find somewhere relatively quiet, and hopefully they have internet coverage. If not, this whole thing is going to be blow up in my face. But that is the plan as it stands. So Friday and Saturday, we will announce those. At that point, the patterns will be available on Ravelry, and the yarn kits will be available from the dyers' websites. The entry tickets will be on my coffee page. We're doing it a little bit early this time because of the holidays and shipping around the holidays and all of that. We want to make sure that the dyers have enough time to get these pre-orders in, dyed, and shipped out so that they're in everyone's hands by January 1, which is cast on. So the pre-orders are going to start this weekend, so 17th, 18th, and I believe they're going to run through the 8th of December, which then gives them a couple weeks to get everything dyed up and out the door and to you all. So that's the way it's going to work. I hope you all tune in. I'm really excited about these 2 projects. As you recall from working on the Palm Springs KAL by Casey Knits in this last knit-along, I've become kind of excited about color work, which I'd never done before. I'm going to show you a little something else I'm working on here. So I'm really excited about the color work hat and mitts, and I love a good crochet shawl, and it's been a while since I've done one. So I've got so much of a pile of it in my queue. I'm hoping I can get a couple of these things done in the next month and a half so that I'm a little fresh, so I can feel good about starting new projects, but I'll start them regardless. Just when they finish, that's going to be the question. So we have, that is the other stuff that is going on in the next couple of weeks. I do have a secret project. I've mentioned a couple of times several secret projects. One that is, if it's not already been announced by the time this gets released on Friday, it should be very soon thereafter. I can't wait to talk about it and show y'all what the project is all about. Some of that will be coming out in drips and drabs, but the main gist of it I should be able to talk about maybe when we go live. If we do that on the Sunday after Thanksgiving, everything will be out in the open, and we can talk a lot about that and how that's going to work. So it's been a really fun project for me. Great opportunity for me, and also for some fundraising for AIDS Lifecycle. So other than that, it is just been knitting on a couple of things. Again, one I can't show you, but one I can, or 2 I can actually. So I don't have any FOs. I mean, I do actually have some. Maybe I'll show you these little, I guess they're FOs, they're objects, and they're finished. They're just not very good. But I'll talk about my whips first. So I have spent a little more time before I got waylaid on other things, working on my Embracing Our Nature's socks from Samba Knits. This is from the sock knit-along that was the fall knit-along. It is a beautiful cabled pattern. I'm now through the second repeat of the cable. I am doing this in Porter Wool Co. Pedal Party Remix. So Caitlin, let me see if I can get the focus. There you go. Caitlin from Porter Wool Co. dyed a special colorway called Hope, which was kind of a patina green, I would say, colorway. I have a skein of it, I think, over here somewhere in the giveaway box. But I decided, since I'm trying to do more knitting from stash, that I'm going to buy the yarn from the dyers that work on the Knitalongs and Crochetalongs and use those as giveaways, and then try to work out of stash on some of these projects if I have the amount of yarn that I need to do them. So this is Petal Party Remix, one of Caitlin's other colors, which I absolutely love. And this is so much fun. I'm doing a lot of cables right now, foreshadowing. And so I've been really having a lot of fun for each particular one, figuring out a way to do them without cable needles. And I've gotten pretty good at doing that and speeding up through that process. So I've really enjoyed this. I'm just had to take a break on it to work on had to. One of these things I didn't have to do, but wanted to do, to work on other things in the meantime. But as I've said from the beginning, this is hopefully going to be my, sort of December into January project once some of these other things get wrapped up. So the thing that I said I had to work on, but I didn't really have to work on, is related to the SoCal Fiber Fair. So maybe a bit of a background on that. Back, I want to say it was in August when Flock happened up in Seattle. Right before that happened, there was this announcement that came out that they were trying to put together a fiber fair for this fall, for this winter, here in Southern California. And it was being done by Nancy Bates, who has put out the Knitting the National Parks hat book and just came out with the Knitting California hat, colorwork hat book. She and her daughter were putting together this fair. It seemed very ambitious to me to try to get vendors lined up and everything up and running in just a couple months' time, but they seem to have pulled it off. It's going to be in Pomona, which is kind of over by Pasadena, east of LA, on the way kind of out towards the desert, at some sort of fair complex. It looks like it's going to be in a big barn kind of situation. They've got a good number of vendors and a nice mix of vendors. So they've gotten folks not just from Southern California, but as I mentioned, Sarah from Sea Change Fibers is going to be there. She's from up in Northern California. A couple of other Northern California dyers are going to be there. The whole Among Friends group, if you've seen them at different Fiber Fest. So it's Seismic Yarn and Kira K Designs and Teal Torch Knits, and a bunch of, there's like 6 or 7 of them that have kind of put together a little posse that goes to shows often together, and they team up and do promotions where they have a bag that they make, they have a little passport that you can go around and get stamped and get entered into prizes. So it's a nice mix of vendors. They were able to pull it together in a relatively short period of time. It's going to be this coming Saturday and Sunday, so I'm really looking forward to it. My local yarn store, Knitting Tree LA, has a booth there, and most of the other yarn stores around kind of the greater Southern California area have put in booths there. So it should be fun. They have little workshops going on. There is some music. You could enter items into a competition, kind of like a state fair or a county fair. And they're going to have those judged, and there's going to be a little fashion show and things like that. So it looks like it's going to be a great event, and I do hope that it is very successful, because I would love to see next year it be able to take the next step and get to be something, like Flock was this year. And Flock just opened up for vendor booths. So if you're interested in going, go check them out, because it was a great show last year. So anyway, as part of SoCal Fiber Fair, Nancy Bates put out a special show beanie pattern called Just Getting Started. Colorwork, which is what she is famous for. And each day at the Fiber Fair, so both Saturday and Sunday, they're going to do a big group photo. So obviously, last thing I needed on my plate with 4 unfinished KAL projects and this secret project that I'm furiously knitting on a deadline, last thing I needed to do was to start another project. But I really wanted to be part of the group photo thing. I thought that'd be cool to be part of this inaugural show, and plus it was color work, and I kind of wanted to do something fun and quick. So I grabbed some skeins of Knit Picks Wool of the Andes that I had left over from my Monster Marled Garter Stripe blanket from last year, and I have started the Just Getting Started hat. Really fun. Reinforced how much fun I am having with color work. Also reinforced that I need to figure out how to figure out my tension on the actual color work part of it. So I think it started on a 5 for the 1x1 ribbing, and you went up to a 7, and it is still really tight. I mean, I've gotten a little more mindful in the second half of the color work section and took pains to be loose. But I probably could have gone up another needle size to make it even looser. I've just been so busy. I need to do a little research on any techniques that there may be out there to, other than just like keep repeating, keep it loose, keep it loose, keep it loose. There's something a little more concrete than that to help keep it loose. What I have noticed that if I do does help my tension is I hold, 1 yarn in each hand. I naturally hold yarn in my left hand, and so the one in my right hand is unnatural for me, and that's the one that's where the tightness comes in. I find that if I drop it and pick it up and throw it around, that helps keep things a little bit looser rather than holding it taut on my finger and kind of flicking. So that may be one option. It slows me down, but until I kind of get the tension sorted out, that may be the best route. But these are not the colors that she designed it in, but these are the colors that I had on hand that I thought worked the best together, and I think it's cute. I'm at the crown decreases. I was actually much higher than this until 10 minutes before I started filming, because I'm a novice at reading these charts, especially when you get to the decrease section. And it just kept growing and growing. I was like, I was decreasing, but I was like, it just seems like it's getting really, really tall. And what I realized that was in between the markers, where I was only decreasing right before I got to the marker, you were supposed to do 3 decreases between each marker. So it was decreasing at a much slower rate than it was supposed to. So I ripped that all out, and I'm going to, in between, during my 6-minute pauses when I'm posting for Destash, I'm going to try to get through the crown decreases here fairly quickly. I have a holiday party for my local knitting group on Friday night, and I think they said bring a project, so we're all probably just going to sit around and knit and drink and have snacks, and so maybe I can finish up there before I head over there on Saturday. So my plan is to go for both Saturday and Sunday. I think it's going to come down to how much Destash listing I get done on whether I go back on Sunday. I have a lot of people to try to meet with and talk with, but I feel like I could probably get most of it. I feel like I'm going to be able to spend a good amount of time with folks on Saturday, but we'll see. It's about an hour and a half drive, which kind of stinks, but it is what it is. It'll be nice to have a fiber festival here in Southern California. So those are the two whips that I have. I've made almost no additional progress on my Stephen West Mystery Knitalong. Can you hear the rain? It's like torrential downpours, which is so wild for us. That's gotten no love in the last couple of weeks, because I've been working on these FOs, which I will share with you, and these are the result of 2 full days basically of doing nothing but knitting. I showed this on Instagram. This is what I have to show for it. Oops, there goes one. And this was all about trying to solve a problem in this secret project that I'm working on, which I thought was easy, but it is not. And I know Gigi says it's not hard, it's just new, but this seems hard. Harder than I would have thought. So what it is trying to create tube in a pattern and graft in a pattern. And what I did not realize was that was different than just doing the Kitchener stitch, because that I did that once and that looked like garbage. And that sent me down a rabbit hole of YouTube video after YouTube video after YouTube video on trying to graft in pattern. Each one seemed a little bit different, and not all of them were dealing with grafting a cast-on row to what would be the bind-off row. So doing provisional cast-on, knitting this tube, then closing it with what would be the bind-off edge. And so I've probably watched 25 different videos and tried to figure out, and it's also there's like a deadline involved, and so I'm like, I need to sort of pick this up fast, and I didn't really feel like I had the time to like really dig in and sort of like understand the sort of what is going on in grafting. I just kind of wanted, like, I need a set of instructions that I can do quickly, because every time, I had to knit these little swatches every time I wanted to try it again, because what I found was once I did it, oftentimes I couldn't undo it and reuse the same scrap. Part of the problem was, I keep dropping these things. The initial idea was to do it, this one you can see has an I-cord edge, and that just complicated things even more. I found one location that had not even a video, but like a visual tutorial on doing that sort of grafting on an I-cord edge. And I mean, I kind of got it there, but it's still ugly. So I decided to scrap that and just work with, and that was only on garter stitch, which is easy enough because that's just the revert. Well, this is garter stitch, not reverse stockinette, but garter stitch grafting was not too bad. But it was when I was trying to do even a simple pattern like 2x2 ribbing that I couldn't quite get it. I tried different things to sort of like simplify it. This one was I did the provisional cast on with a just row of knitting, and then ended with a row of knitting, and thought if I did a 3 needle bind off to the back side that it would pull it together and it would kind of look close, but it still leaves that stockinette valley in there. So that didn't work. I was trying to do anything that I could do except this grafting. So I finally, I mean, this is as good as I was able to get it. It looks pretty decent, but if you pull it out, you can still see in the purl valleys, not 100% invisible. So I don't know what I'm going to do, but this was 2 days of knitting that I could have been doing something else, trying to solve this problem. And I don't know what, at the end of the day, what's going to come of it. But if you ever wondered, grafting in pattern is not the same as Kitchener, and is a lot more challenging than I would have thought. Anyone has any? I've probably seen the videos, but if anyone has any YouTube videos that could help for a future project, I will definitely spend the time to kind of understand the mechanics of what's going on. Kitchener stitch, I've just kind of memorized it. I've never really thought too much about what I'm actually doing. It works. And that's kind of what I needed for this, but it looks like I'm going to have to dig a little deeper and really try to understand it. Interestingly enough, while I was doing something else, the season 8 of Knit Stars has just started dropping over the past week or so, and so I'd watched Nancy Ricci's. I'd watched a couple of them. I was really interested in Olga Jazzy Knits. She's doing this one on like 3-dimensional knitting. And I think I may have talked about this before because one of the things she does or is using, and I got the kit just because it was so cool looking to me, is holding, I think, a fingering weight yarn with a silk wrapped stainless steel yarn, which really gives like the structure to her thing, which, you know, folds kind of like origami. I don't have the yarn yet. It won't be here till probably sometime in the new year. But I thought, oh, I'll just watch her while I'm working on this hat or whatever it was I was working on. Just watch this and just, you know, watch her thing. And lo and behold, towards the end of the thing, she has a whole section on grafting in pattern. Now she's dealing with her specific pattern, so it wasn't like a general, this is kind of how you do it. But she did have a really interesting method, which was to basically take almost like an embroidery floss and do your grafting using that almost like a tracing to see that you're getting it right, because you'll be able to see, you know, how the stitches are coming together. And then going back, I think, because I haven't watched the whole video yet, but then going back with your actual yarn and just sort of following that tracing that sort of tracking yarn kind of thing. So we'll see. I mean, that may be an option. I just, like I said, I'm on a deadline and I'm not sure how it's gonna pan out. So we'll figure out something. Anyway, so those are my only FOs, are those stupid little tubes. And in terms of new projects, I don't have any. My goal is really to finish this hat this week, and then if I have any time Thanksgiving week to knit, to try to jump back in and just switch between these socks and the Stephen West Mystery Knit-Along. I've seen everyone finish theirs. I really think it's a cool design. I'm really enjoying it. Someone had I talked about doing a color pop, and someone mentioned black, which I never ever think about. But I think with all those greens, if I can figure out where it would go, I think a black pop would look really cool. It's not a color that I normally ever think about knitting with, but I think it could be a cool addition. So stay tuned. We shall see. No real acquisitions this week. I mean, after Rhinebeck, I don't feel like I needed to do much. And since I knew I was going to SoCal Fiber Fair, and I'm sure there'll be something that grabs my attention there, hopefully mainly for the prize pile, not for my stash. But I did get something in the mail, and it actually is for the prize pile, and I thought I could talk about this as sort of a segue into craftivism, because it ties into the Knit the Rainbow accessories drive that we are now down to the final month of. So if you've been watching along, you know what I'm talking about. If not, I have run a accessories drive for Knit the Rainbow. Mentioned them earlier with the Pearl Awards. They collect and distribute cold weather accessories for homeless LGBTQ plus youth in New York, New Jersey, Chicago, and Detroit through partners, agencies that work with those populations. And so I thought it would be great, since our fall Knitalongs were all accessories, that we would piggyback that onto an accessories drive for Knit the Rainbow. So folks have been knitting since September through December 15th. Each week, each Monday, I go on Instagram and I have a little raffle for a prize for anyone who has posted using the Gary Knits the Rainbow 23 hashtag. We're also then compiling everything that we knit and collect for and send off to Knit the Rainbow. And there's a tally sheet that's linked down below that you can score yourself on how many things you've made. And then at the end of the event, there's going to be a series of prizes, both for those folks who have knit the most items, and then a series of raffle drawings based on how many things you've contributed. So one of the prizes, one of the grand prizes in the raffle piece of that final giveaway, is a Woolens and Nosh. I didn't pull it out of its package, so pardon the glare. It is Michelle's advent for this year, and there is a this is on her Targhee fingering base, which is a 90-10 superwash Targhee nylon. So there are two skeins, two half skeins already wound up in here that you then, and it's woolens and nosh, so it's self-striping, and you knit one stripe basically per day per sock, and there's a little mini that in this case is like a pale gray, and when you get to that color in the thing, you stop, because that's the signal that it's time to stop for the day. Then you pick it up again, so you don't know what the striping color is going to look like. There's a pattern code for a pattern as well. So whoever wins this, unfortunately, we'll need to do a little catch up, because it's not going to get to them probably till closer to the holidays. But that's one of the going to be one of the prizes for the raffle piece of the at the end. The way that the raffle is going to work is there are points for each item that you donate. So hats are worth, this may not be right, but hats are worth 1, scarves are worth 2, and each point is then also a raffle ticket. So there's going to be some winners that are based on, the top 3 point totals, and then everyone else who donated items gets their raffle tickets, and we'll draw those out. So that's going to be the grand prize on the raffle side. Since I'm talking about prizes, I thought I could show you. I already showed these on Instagram. One of the other prizes is going to be this beautiful caffeinated gnome bag from Scrappy Angel, one of her wire-framed bags. This is a big one. And so that is going to be one of the prizes. And then on the raffle side, that's going to be one of the point prizes. On the raffle side, I have a copy of The Art of Knitting Hats and a holiday mini set from Jada Woo Designs. So then on the grand prize, so the person who has the highest point total is going to get a full advent from Porter Woolco. Again, it's going to be a little late, but I think that's a fantastic prize. And then I also have a $50 gift card from Pretty Twisted Yarns as the second prize. So should be fun if you are still knitting things for Knit the Rainbow. Thank you so much for participating. Keep those photos coming over on Instagram to get entered into the weekly drawings, and keep a total of everything that you're doing, so you can be entered into the raffles and the point prizes at the end. So that was my first craftivism idea, which is to continue knitting things up for Knit the Rainbow. I should mention also, because it ties in, Michelle of Woolens of Nosh, you have a couple more days, if you're seeing this on Friday, on through Sunday the 19th of November. She is doing a fundraiser for Feeding America over on her Instagram page. Every donor gets entered into a raffle. I think she is giving away 2 of her advents, and I think there were some other goodies as well. She had like a couple left over, and so she's going to give those away. So that's fantastic, and goes to a great cause. So that's over at Woolens and Nosh through this Sunday, the 19th of November. A couple of other things that crossed through my threshold this week. Friday Morning Charity, which is an Instagram account you should be following if you are interested in helping out in the community through your crafting. She posted an opportunity for an organization called Hannah Grace Family. It is up in Oregon somewhere, Oregon City maybe, and they are an agency that deals with foster kids and children in difficult situations. They're trying to put together their holiday packs for the kids that they work for, and so they're looking for blankets, hats, and scarves, sized child to teen. So go over to, this will all be linked below, as everything that I talk about will be. Head over to Friday Morning Charity for all the details on where you can send those items. If you have a pile of charity knitting that you've been doing, that would be a great way to get it to someone for their holiday baskets. And likewise, the last one is from Jada Woo Designs, who I mentioned before. Jess just opened her store or storefront in Tacoma, Washington, where she sells her yarn. She teaches classes. She has a community knitting space. She is also running a hat drive for an organization there in Tacoma, which is going to distribute hats to kids ages 13 to 17. And she's collecting those through the 16th of December. Again, a link down below to the post where she says, where she gives the address where you can send those to. So if you have extra items that you work on throughout the year, looking to donate those before the holidays. Those are two more opportunities for you to do that. And I think that is about it for me. As I said, it was going to be fairly short. Hopefully y'all will tell me when a good time to be doing the live would be, and then we can have some fun. I can hopefully talk about one of these projects, recap a little bit about SoCal Fiber Fair. I'll try to take a lot of pictures while I'm there, and fingers crossed it's a great event, and I can show off my new beanie. So with that, I will say goodbye. Thank you so much for taking some time out of your week to spend it with me. As I mentioned, we want to continue to grow this community, so if you have not yet, please hit that subscribe button, like, thumbs up, comments. All of those things are wonderful. I love to see and interact with all of you on this platform. So have a fantastic Thanksgiving. Be safe if you're traveling. Enjoy a good time with friends and family, and I will see you sometime around Thanksgiving, maybe. Okay, have a great day. Bye.